Hey friends, welcome to the Purpose Show podcast. We're going to get directly into all the things today because we're talking about something that not only have I been wanting to talk about for a long time, but I used to be so afraid to talk about this. Like, so afraid. We're talking about manifestation. If you clicked the episode, then you're already like my people. But I just used to be so terrified to talk about this because I was raised in a religious environment, and anything about like manifestation or having like power in yourself of any kind was like not okay. Like it was not safe, it was evil, and it freaked me out. And then like over the years, as I kind of came out of all of that, I kind of found it annoying. Like everyone would use this word and it was thrown around a lot. And even as I got into like neuroscience and, psychocybernetics and all of these things that, and quantum physics, like all these things that really are what manifestation is, and it proves all of it, I just like had an issue with the word manifestation. I don't know. It's probably still part of my programming. But it just was like, I feel like there's so many things thrown around about it, and it annoys me, especially now that I understand it. So I want you to know, like, I have been studying neuroscience, neuroplasticity, psychocybernetics, psychology, and even elements of quantum physics. And I've been studying this stuff for years, but actually getting certified in these things for the past year. And I just want to share like my understanding and really just debunk some of the myths that like drive me up the wall and I think are so misleading. So let's talk about what manifestation actually is. So manifestation is often discussed as the idea that basically focusing on your thoughts, focusing on your intentions and beliefs can bring about desired outcomes in your life. So you have some control over what is happening in your life and can kind of create more of the results that you want to see in yourself and your life with your mind and your intention and by reprogramming your beliefs. So it's obviously a very popular topic in like self-help and spiritual circles, but there's actually a very strong scientific foundation that underlies this concept. It is connected to psychology. It is connected to neuroscience. There is proof and elements of quantum physics, okay? The more we get into this, the more we learn, the more studies we run, the more we prove that manifestation is not only real, but it works, and we have so much more power than we think. So I want to dive deep with you into how manifestation works through the lens of science because I love it, okay? All right, so let's talk first about neuroscience and neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity and thought patterns. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your life. So this means that the brain is not like set like we used to think. It's actually very adaptable, and it can change based on your experiences, what you learn, and what you practice. So you can change your brain through the way you live, the way you think, the things you practice. Research has shown repeatedly that neuroplasticity is a real and powerful process. So there are some studies that were done on brain injury recovery, and those studies showed that the brain can actually rewire itself to compensate for lost functions. So similarly, learning new skills requires the formation of new neural pathways. So learning how to do something new that you've never done before is going to form new neural pathways. Positive thinking and reframing and visualization engages these neuroplastic processes. So it's helping strengthen the like neural circuits associated with achieving goals. So you are literally rewiring. This is why I've created the Becoming Her Daily Ritual in the way that I have created it, because we're hitting those marks every day in just 25 minutes a day. Super powerful. There's actually a guy named Dr. Suin, and he showed that mental imagery or visualizing certain activities activates the same neural pathways as the actual physical act of doing that activity. So athletes who visualized their performance showed similar improvements as athletes who physically practiced. It was so close. It was almost even, proving that focusing on goals, visualizing things going a certain way, visualizing yourself doing something, having something, achieving something is going to reinforce that the mental pathways that you need to actually achieve them. Okay? So manifestation, that's fact number one. Fact number two is cognitive bias and self-fulfilling prophecies. So what is a cognitive bias? Cognitive biases are systematic patterns of like deviating from the norm. Okay. So for example, confirmation bias causes you to seek out information that supports your existing beliefs and ignore information that contradicts them. You have something in your brain called your reticular activating system, and it is like a filter. You're taking in so many millions, billions of bits of information on a minute by minute basis that you cannot possibly handle them. So your subconscious mind is taking in all of them, but your reticular activating system is filtering based on what you believe and based on what's important to you. So essentially, your subconscious mind is always proving you right. So if you believe that everything is really hard and the world is rigged against you, you're going to see and create proof of that. So this bias very clearly affects how we perceive things, how we interact in the world, how we show up. When we hold really strong beliefs about our capabilities or about how things go for us or how the outcome is gonna show up, we tend to notice and act on opportunities that align with the way we believe about things. There's something called the Pigmalion Effect. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I've only read about it, but it was basically showed that teachers' expectations of their students' performance significantly impacted the students' actual performance. So if they had high expectations of a student, they led to better performance. If they had low expectations of a student, it led to worse performance. So this illustrated how beliefs and expectations can shape outcomes. There's a book called Mindful Loving. I believe the author is Dr. Henry Grayson, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going off the top of my head here, but it's one of my favorite books for relationships. And it essentially is the big lesson, the big takeaway, I guess, would be that what you expect from someone, you're going to get. So shift your expectations of them and you actually shift their behavior. And really, like, if you go deeper into this concept, it's based on quantum physics, that the way you expect something to go when you're observing it is going to change the way that things show up. So, I mean, this fascinates me because it's just all so factual and so helpful to understand. Now let's talk about the other thing I mentioned, self-fulfilling prophecies. So a self-fulfilling prophecy happens when a person's expectations or beliefs about an event or about a behavior cause them to act in ways that create that event or behavior. So this is like a phenomenon that really proves how our beliefs can lead us to take actions that create the very outcomes we expect, whether that outcome is good or helpful or bad and unhelpful. So if you believe you will succeed and you're just like assuming like I might have some major hiccups along the way, but I know I'm going to make it, you're more likely to take steps that lead to that success because you're expecting it. So in like educational settings, studies have found that students who are expected to succeed do better academically, whether they're expecting it themselves, their parents are expecting it, their teachers and friends are expecting it. This is actually like really clear in my own family. You guys know I have a daughter and then I have 3 boys. 2 of my boys are very, very close in age. They're 15 months apart. And one of them is just like naturally, he just assumes he's going to be good at everything he tries. He's tried every sport and excelled at it. He gets like straight A's and a B every once in a while, but mostly straight A's. I don't have to remind him to do his homework. I don't have to do anything. He talks about himself. If anything, he can get a little heady. Okay. Like he just assumes that things are going to go well for him. It is his natural like disposition. My other son, his brother, is the opposite. He tends to err on the side of negative. He tends to expect that he's going to be clumsy. He's going to embarrass himself. He's not able to study well. He's not able to take a test well. He's not going to do well. And he gets very anxious and nervous about it. And he has to work extra hard to do well. So he's getting, his grades are okay, but he has to work his butt off to make that happen. person. And I have been talking to them so much lately about how so much of this is your expectation and really working on shifting that. So think about where you can see that in your own life or like in your own kids or in yourself, because you'll find proof that this is how things work everywhere once you're aware of it. All right, let's shift into, I want to talk about sort of the emotional impact in decision making. So your emotions have a huge, significant impact, and like they influence how you make decisions and behave. Positive emotions are going to boost your cognitive creativity and your problem solving abilities, and they're going to make you more effective in pursuing your goals. So when you choose to feel, you can choose your emotions. When you use EFT and things that I teach you guys to clear negative emotions, clear negative energy, process it. You don't want to suppress it. We don't want toxic positivity. That's not going to help you. But you really process and clear it, and then you choose to bring in positive emotions. You are going to be activating your creativity, and you are going to be more effective. You're going to suddenly have a breakthrough. You're going to suddenly have a new idea that's going to lead you to the goal you originally wanted. Okay? So your emotions affect your actions and your decisions by either enhancing or limiting your capabilities, whether they're positive or negative. Positive emotions have been proven to expand our thinking and improve our resilience and make us more creative and make us more capable. Negative emotions have been proven to limit our capabilities. There is a woman named Barbara Fredrickson. She had a theory called broaden and build. And this theory suggested that positive emotions actually expand our range of thoughts and actions. It literally makes us more thoughts, more ideas possible for us to take in, and makes the actions we can take like more, there are more choices, there are more options for us. Literally makes you more capable. So it helps you build like resources and resilience. So for example, people who typically experience positive emotions are more likely to engage in behaviors that align with your goals and create better outcomes. So you can see this again in the example between my two boys and how they naturally are thinking, and like one versus the other. And it's not that one is good and one is bad. It is just like, wow, how interesting. How can we use this to reprogram what needs to be reprogrammed? How can we use this to serve you better? It's all just neutral information that we can use to our favor and advantage if we choose to do so. So I want to get into for a moment behavioral science, because this is another piece of manifestation. So there's something called SMART goals. Okay, you may have heard of this. SMART is like an acronym, SMART. SMART goals are S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time bound. So this is a very, very popular method of goal setting, which helps in creating clear and actionable plans. Now, I'm not a huge fan of traditional goal setting. I truly believe you can embody the version of yourself that's already reached the goal and quantum leap like that to the version of yourself you want to be, the version of your life you want to be in. I have done it myself twice. I'm actively working on doing it a third time in my business, and I've seen it. You can do this. However, you do need to get really specific when it comes to manifestation, and that's where this comes into play. So research has repeatedly shown us that clearly defined goals improve performance and achievement. So keeping things really vague or really immeasurable, like, oh, I want to make more money, is so much less effective compared to like, I want to have 10,000 new students in my courses by the end of December 2024. Okay. That's way more measurable. You can know when you have it. You can see it. You can feel it. You know you can have it because it's measurable. Okay. That's really huge. So getting really clear is a huge part of manifestation and a huge part of calling in what you want in your life. Now, let's talk about visualization. Mental rehearsal or visualization, whether you're visualizing you living in your ideal life, you buying your dream house, you living in your ideal body, you living in your ideal romantic relationship, whatever it is, or you're visualizing yourself speaking on stage and it going really well, whatever you're mentally rehearsing or visualizing, this is vividly imagining successful completion of a goal. This practice is scientifically linked to actual improvements in performance, okay? So remember, Dr. Richard Sewin, the visualization of practicing the thing was almost the same result as actually physically practicing the thing. So that's really huge. Okay. Now let's touch on quantum physics. I'm obsessed and I could go off on this for a long time, but I won't. Basically, quantum physics explores the behavior of particles. Okay. The observer effect shows us that particles behave differently when they're being watched, when they're being observed. So while quantum physics doesn't really like directly translate to personal manifestation, and that gets kind of convoluted in the spiritual community, the principle that observation can influence the outcomes of how things go for you is metaphorically related to how your focus and attention can shape your experiences. So there was an experiment called the double slit experiment. It is a famous quantum physics experiment that shows particles act differently depending on whether or not they're being observed. And this highlighted the impact of observation. So when you observe something, when you put your attention on something, it changes what it's doing. It affects the outcome. You are very powerful. You are a very powerful creator. Now, let's get into these common like manifestation myths that I've been dying to debunk. Okay, we've set the foundation for manifestation and what it actually is, what is involved in it, and let's get into this. Myth number 1, manifestation is instant. This one personally pisses me off because I am such a like all or nothing, such a right now type of person. I get very frustrated when things are not fast. And I actually like, even you can just hear it in my voice. And when I'm talking about the daily ritual and I'm talking about like, you don't need to set tiny goals and wait forever. Like you can just embody it now. Like, yes, that is all true. And I have experienced these quantum jumps. Like if you don't know what that is, go do your research. It's incredible. I've talked about it on other shows in interviews and stuff. I'm happy to bring it here. I just haven't thought to do that yet for some reason. But you can have that. You can do that. But it's not always instantaneous. So manifestation is so often kind of put out there as something that's just like immediate after you set an intention or you visualize a desired outcome. But in reality, it's actually a process that requires time, patience, and consistency. So while small things can manifest quickly, bigger goals usually require more patience, persistence, and taking aligned action. So I'll give you an example. I, at one point, was manifesting a very specific goal in my business, and it was a big one. And it took like over a year for that to come through. But when it did, it was so good. It was so sweet. There's another goal that I was very intentionally visualizing, feeling, picturing, manifesting, and that one took like 3 years. And it was so big though, right? It involved a lot of other people, a lot of moving parts, a lot of big companies, a lot of big things. This last week, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Like I haven't had fresh flowers in the house in a minute. And my man normally like buys flowers like every other week. And for some reason, we've just gotten really busy. He's been traveling for work and stuff. And it's been a minute since I had flowers in the house. Like it's been a couple months. And I'm like, oh, I'll just go buy flowers for myself. Like I just like having them in the house. But then I was like, wait, I want to play a game and I love to like prove the science of this stuff to myself over and over again because it makes me so happy. So for the last like, I don't know, it was probably like a few days, maybe like 5 days max. Every time I would go make my matcha, I'd make a morning matcha and I make an afternoon matcha. So every time I'd go in the kitchen and make my matcha, I would look at my dining room table and I would visualize a big bouquet of colorful roses. I actually normally don't like roses, but for some reason that just sounded really beautiful to me and just felt really good to me. I imagined a big, beautiful bouquet of roses and I just imagined it being on the table. I imagined it. I didn't picture how it came to me or anything. I just visualized it and I would like feel the feelings and smell the smells and just feel really happy that there's beautiful roses. I just feel like they look so luxurious on my table. So yesterday, that was like last week. So yesterday, someone knocked on my door and I answered it and they were like, we have a flower delivery for Allie. And I'm like, okay. huge bouquet of colorful roses. If you're watching the video, I will have Brian edit in a picture of the roses to show you. They're so beautiful. Like, they showed up at the door and they had like a little note with no name, and my man didn't send them. Brian didn't send them. I just moved. Like, really, no one has my address. These are fucking mystery flowers. It's crazy. I still don't know where they came from, but I got my flowers. And that's a small little thing. I've manifested like a free cup of coffee, a free drink when I'm out. Like, I've manifested little things, and I love to play. So I would encourage you to do that. So yeah, small things can be like that. But typically, if there's something really big, it's not going to come through right away, because you need to do the inner work to align yourself with being the version of yourself that can even have, create, and manage having that thing in your life. Okay, my loves, where are my fempreneurs at? I am getting ready to run one of your guys' favorite challenges again. It's 5 days to your business breakthrough. So if you are feeling stuck in your business, overwhelmed by like all the things to do, and it feels like every time you start to do something, it opens up the box to like a million more things to do. If you feel bombarded with advice from different experts telling you what you should be doing in your business, what you should be focused on, then this challenge is really going to support you. I'm getting really deep into game-changing shifts that could be the key to you having the breakthrough you've been needing. We're going to talk about adopting a true CEO mindset and really embodying the CEO that you want to be, and embodying the version of yourself that is running the business that you want to be running. So we're no longer going to be caught up in strategies, no longer caught up in different action steps we should be taking or external advice, but really focusing on the right perspective, the right mindset, and being in a state of embodiment. I'm going to break down what you need for the foundation of everything you do and how to run your business in a way that's going to bring you results and peace and flow. I'm also going to be doing some live hot seat coaching. So this is a really cool free opportunity to get that from me. This challenge is loaded. It's so fun. I work like in a way that pulls back the curtain on my personal process for like, instead of just telling you work smarter, not harder, here are some tips, I actually show you how I do these strategies and how you can apply them in your own business. It's about creating your own rules, finding what feels right for you. And again, it comes down to embodiment. So stop treating your business like a hobby, stop beating your head against the wall, and let's get CEO results. Go to alicasaza.com/TPS links and you can sign up for the challenge there. It's 5 days. We start in just a few and it's totally free. alicasaza.com/TPS links. Love you guys. Okay, myth number 2 is that positive thinking alone is enough. There is so much toxic positivity in like the mindset and spiritual space. Positive thinking is an important part of manifestation, but not only is it not enough on its own, like you need to take inspired action towards your goals. But not only that, it's like, if you're just like, oh, I got to think positive. I just have to think positive all the time. I need to be mostly in a positive state of thinking. Otherwise, I'm not going to get what I want. You're almost like making the way things work like a religion, because religion is so based in like performance and control. And if you do this, then this kind of thinking, at least for like many religions. And I think that that's something that happens. I think a lot of the time, like what I've seen is people that come from like what I come from, they come out of something that was like so religious. It's their comfort. It's all they know. And then they get into like spirituality and they really start to see how things get to work for them, and it gets them really excited, but they kind of unconsciously make spirituality a new religion, and they put all these like, they just get really intense with it. It can get very like cultish. And like, I don't want to get super into that today, but I see this a lot. And the positive thinking thing tends to go right along with that. When people are getting into that kind of realm, it's like this toxic positivity. It's not about never feeling anything negative. You need your emotions. They are so good for you. They are your allies. They are here to help you and support you and show you what you need, show you what you need to work through, show you what needs clearing, and guide you towards feeling better, like having a more actually positive experience, not faking it till you make it. And yeah, positive thinking on its own, not when it's not negative, like, yes, you want to think good thoughts, you want to visualize your when it's not toxic positivity, positive thinking is great. You want to visualize the outcome you want. You want to picture your goal. You want to see things going well. You want to see yourself being the highest version of yourself, but it's not enough. You need to also take inspired action towards your goals. So without action, positive thoughts are just thoughts. And you will definitely like raise your vibration and start to like create like better like little experiences and stuff. But manifestation requires alignment of your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desires. So it's got to be all of it. You're not meant to just like be stagnant and lazy and do nothing and just like be a Jedi and like bring things to you. Like, you are meant to be in alignment, to be evolving, to be growing, to be busy, to be fulfilled, to be doing different things, and to be taking action. You are meant to get up and move. And so that's a really big important piece. Myth number 3 is you can manifest anything without limits. This is also a huge issue for me. And I think really not just for me, I think it's a big issue. The suggestion that like you can manifest anything you want without considering like the laws of nature, the laws of the universe, other people's free will, or like ethical boundaries is really unhealthy and incorrect. In reality, manifestation works within the confines of the universal laws. And some things just may not manifest if they conflict with these principles, if they conflict with another person's desires. Like, there's a lot at play. So the idea that like you can create anything you want without any limits, or like if it doesn't work, then it means that manifestation doesn't work, like that's not a thing. Myth number 4, manifestation is all about material wealth. So many people associate manifestation like solely with attracting money, luxury items, like material success, but true manifestation actually covers like all areas of life. We're manifesting all the time without trying. You are a master manifester right now. You're just not maybe putting intention into it and deliberately creating your desires into your life. You're manifesting things to be afraid of. You're manifesting more experiences that don't feel good. You're manifesting like putting on more weight, and you're taking inspired action based on your thoughts, your beliefs, and your programming, right? So we're manifesting all the time in every area. True manifestation, when we talk about like deliberate, intentional manifestation of the things that you want, it's relationships, health, personal growth, emotional well-being, small joys like the flowers, right? In my house, like focusing only on material wealth is going to lead to imbalance and in general, like dissatisfaction. And I find too in my own journey that material things are really just a side effect of manifesting like the root cause, like being happier, being more fulfilled, serving more in my business, feeling really good in my work is going to lead to more of the like money and material things. I don't necessarily need to deliberately manifest those things, although you can, but it's not like just that. It's not just about that. Myth number 5, manifestation doesn't require inner work. So some people, not a lot, but some people believe that you can just focus on what you want and not address the underlying beliefs, the fears, or the traumas that have contributed to what life has been like for you up to this point. And the truth is, inner work is essential for manifestation to be effective. Limiting beliefs and unresolved emotional issues will block your ability to manifest what you desire. I saw somebody recently say that they don't believe we have blocks. There's no such thing as blocks, that everything is just like yours automatically, and like you can literally have whatever you want right now. but you just have to believe. That's actually not true at all. Everything is according to your programming, and you are calling in things to your life and into your reality based on your vibration, and your vibration is affected by your beliefs and your programming and your thoughts and your emotions and all these things. So that's a myth, and the inner work is not only required, it's a gift. Doing the inner work is such a freaking gift. You will feel so much better. You will heal. You will be a more expanded, happy, grounded version of yourself. Like, it is not a task, it is a gift. Myth number 6, if you don't get what you want, then you're not doing it right. So this, in my opinion, goes back a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time it goes back to the religious piece. Like, if I didn't pray hard enough or I wasn't good enough, then God's not going to give me, he's not going to answer my prayer. Not achieving a specific goal does not necessarily mean that you're bad at manifesting, or you did something wrong, or you're not doing it right. Sometimes, God, the universe, has other plans that just align better with our highest good. So there may be lessons that we need to learn. There may be versions of ourselves we need to kind of go through before receiving what we desire. And it's really important to trust the process and stay open to different outcomes, and more just focus on the way you desire to feel. If you want to manifest abundance, then you need to feel abundant now. You need to be and embody abundance. If you want to manifest peace, then you need to look for peace in your life right now. You need to choose to be at peace, choose to be peace for others. You get what you are, not what you want. Myth number 7, visualization is the only technique you need to do. You guys know I love visualization. It is incredibly powerful and effective. It is a tool that can really expand you and just explode your life in amazing ways and call into what you desire. However, there are other things like your voice, your words, your intention, how you speak about yourself, journaling, scripting, meditation, movement that are equally important and can help reinforce your intentions. This is why I put all the different things in the Becoming Her daily ritual. We're touching on each one every day in just a small amount of time each day, 25 minutes, and you're really like checking all these boxes. And it's not a fact of like, oh, I got it done, I'm good. You have to really be present with each practice and really feel it. But you're going to feel so good, you're not going to want to stop. And that's the whole point. That's the science behind it. That's when the reprogramming is happening. Myth number 8, you must stay positive all the time. We talked about this a bit with like positive thoughts, whatever, but not just thinking positive thoughts, but being like happy. Like, this is where the toxic positivity comes in. When you're suppressing negative emotions, or you feel guilty for having negative emotions, or you feel guilty for reacting to a situation that was displeasing to you, whatever, it's natural to experience a range of emotions. You're a human. And again, you have to process those emotions. It is a crucial part of the manifestation process. This is why I put EFT in the daily ritual, because we're not just, let me visualize the good. Let me journal as my highest self. Let me talk positively about myself. We are also clearing what is ready to be cleared. We are dealing with our inner shit. We are processing. Myth number 9, manifestation is a one-time thing. Like a one-time event. Manifestation is so often kind of put out there as this like single magical moment when like your desires are just suddenly going to appear and you're just like, oh, I did it. I manifested the 10 grand or whatever it is. But that's usually not the case. It's usually an ongoing process that requires continuous alignment, adjustment, and refinement of your intentions and actions. This is why in the Becoming Her method, so not the daily ritual, but the whole overarching method, phase 3 is embodiment. And I say all the time, you live there. You live in phase 3. That's the art of being alive and aligned, is being in the embodiment phase of the method. This is where we are constantly like realigning, refining, coming back to the drawing board, evolving, expanding, learning more. And then we're like, okay, how can I align the way I dress with the next level version of myself? What about the way I eat and take care of my body? What about how I show up in my relationships? And we're constantly refining. Manifestation is a way of being. And yes, you might manifest something that happens, like the flowers again, right? Or an amount of money, or getting a client or something. And yes, those are beautiful things. But overall, manifestation is not a one-time event. It is a state of being. It is a continuous alignment and a continuous process. And finally, myth number 10, manifestation is just magical thinking. It's often like, manifestation is just so dismissed a lot of the time. It's just kind of like, oh, it's wishful thinking, or it's magic, or it's bullshit. Actually, it's not at all. It's about aligning your mind, your mindset, the way you are thinking, your emotions, your perspective, and your actions with your desires, right? And it is based on principles that, like I've said, are grounded in psychology, are grounded in neuroscience and quantum physics. It's actually not about magic, although I think there are a lot of really beautiful and magical elements of just how things get to work for us. It's not magic. It's literally a fact. And it is about creating a life, creating a reality, and creating a version of yourself that reflects your deepest desires and intentions through very deliberate focus and effort. So I hope that this helped you guys. I hope this helped someone. Even like if you don't come from what I come from, even if you're just like, we're confused or just needed a reminder, I just hope this shines a light on how things actually work for you and how possible this all is, and like the importance of daily practice and the method and all the things I'm talking to you guys about all the time. So I love you. Please take a screenshot, share, tag me so I can reshare, share with your female friends, tag them, spread the news. Let's get this message out there and let's help people live better lives. Don't forget to go to alexasser.com/TPS links and get all the freebies. There are so many things. There's quizzes and the Becoming Her Blueprint, which will explain the entire method and the daily ritual to you for free. There's so much good stuff there. So go dive in. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.